It's Jason Martinez. It's Brian Smith. It is the pregame show. It's Flyers Lightning tonight from South Florida as the Flyers will take on a Braden pointless, seems pointless, Tampa Bay
Everything
Lightning.
about his name is weird. He
Yeah.
plays the point. You see him on the point, and then his name's Point. I don't know. It's strange.
And the point is not on the roster for tonight. He is out 4 to 6 weeks, Bry, and that's a big loss. He's a great player. 16 games played. How about 13 points, 7 goals, 6 assists? So this is an opportunity for the Flyers. They're already without Kucherov. We know that.
Right.
And now they're without Point. And that's two very key components to the two-time Cup champs.
It may be anecdotal, it may be not, but if you were going to give me the choice of the Flyers playing this team without Braden Point or Steven Stamkos, I would pick Braden Point right now. I mean, he was in everything that they did the other night at Wells Fargo Center. He was right smack in the middle of it. Puck just found him. He's only played 10 games in his career against the Flyers, but he's got 11 points and 7 goals in those 10 games ever since he's come on the scene. He's more of a thorn in the Flyers' side right now than just about anybody on that roster, including Steven Stamkos. So from a selfish point, I'm not sad to not see him in the lineup. I would settle for it being 4 to 6 days, because after that, the Flyers are done with the Lightning for the year. It's a shame it's going to be as long as it is, but you're right. This is a guy that I think is a little bit maybe underrated in terms of the success of this team in recent years, and they do have experience, obviously, playing without Kucherov. They've got a lot of experience playing without Stamkos, for that matter. This might be the first time that they, since they've gotten used to having Braden Point, that they've got to play for a length of time without him. So it'd be interesting to see what that has as an effect on the Lightning.
Yeah, and it's not only just the loss of Braden Point, it's the trickle-down effect that happens thereafter, which the Flyers certainly can attest to. Missing Kevin Hayes once again, who actually is in South Florida. He's down in Florida, Bride, to make the trip, but Alain Vigneault said he's there to receive treatment and is going to stay a couple of days.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got connections down there with some doctors and things like that. The Flyers actually have been down there since Sunday night. They went early. They did a little bit of a team bonding thing, I believe, on Monday. And so it made sense for Hayes to just go along and see this guy, whoever he is. It's certainly not he's not missing any weather here, I can tell you that much. This is the first cold snap I think we've had. So yeah, it's good for him to get down there. It's pretty common for guys to move around the country and see people. As a matter of fact, Philadelphia seems to be a place where a lot of guys come from other teams in all sports to get worked on. There was Dr. Myers was a renowned core surgeon. I believe he's still in the Navy Yard.
Yep.
Used to be some shoulder guys around. Elton Brand, I know, when he was not even with the Sixers yet, was coming into town for shoulder work and things like that down in Wilmington. So it's not that uncommon. I guess we're at a crossroads right now with Kevin Hayes as to what to do next. Obviously, he's already had the surgery. It sounds like it's more than what we were hoping it was, which is just a scar tissue thing. So it sounds to me anyway, just from what I'm reading, like it's something they're trying to figure out what the next step is right now. You certainly don't want to go back and have more surgery. Nobody wants more surgery.
Not a third in the same spot.
What's going to be the speediest way to get this taken care of?
Yeah, and that would be a third in less than a calendar year if it were to lead to that. And Alain Vigneault said yesterday, Kevin Hayes and Ryan Ellis are week to week. Now, what does week to week mean? That's a very kind of malleable statement in a lot of ways.
Longer than day to day.
Is that what it is?
Shorter
than hour to hour,
4 to
day
6,
to day.
Right?
All right. So they're week to week right now with Kevin Hayes, and Morgan Frost has not been called up, although he is playing really well with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. There were some changes in the roster. We'll get to that momentarily. But Tampa has come off. They're coming off a 5-4 shootout win over the Minnesota Wild. After the Flyers took them to overtime in the shootout last Thursday, they lost to New Jersey at home. They gave up 3 third-period goals in that game. Vasilevsky was in net. And then they got the win on Sunday against the Minnesota Wild in the shootout. And the Flyers coming off that loss on Saturday night against the Boston Bruins 5-2 are going to look to bounce back. They lost back-to-back games for the first time this season against Boston, and now they're going to look to avoid 3 straight and a tough schedule this week. Tampa tonight, Florida tomorrow night, who average 4.8 goals per game on home ice. And then Black Friday game against Carolina, who ho-hum is the top of the division, and then they'll wrap up the week with the New Jersey Devils. This is an important week, but a very difficult one.
What did I see today? There was some stat out there that the next 3 teams the Flyers play have some stupid record, like 37-8-8 or something like that. I mean, it's just it's just the way the things have shook down here in this last few weeks, that all these teams that have done really, really well, have been off to good starts, have been on the Flyers docket here for this month of November. We kind of looked at it at the start and we knew it was going to be a pretty tough month. I'm not even sure we thought this week here was going to be as difficult as it's going to be. You're not used to Florida really being at the top. Last year they kind of surged there, and we weren't sure if it was going to stick, but it has. So yeah, it's a tall order. I know that we're talking about consecutive losses and things like that. To me, there's a big difference between going 2 games in a row without a point and at least getting 1 point. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping the Flyers can avoid tonight, is going 2 in a row without a point. The notion of what is a loss in this day and age is sometimes up for semantics, but again, at the very least, you're trying to string together as few situations of consecutive games without any points as you possibly can. So that's kind of, to me, not that you're going to be happy if you only come out of this game with a point, but to me, there's a big difference there. So hopefully, that's not going to be a streak we see tonight.
Yeah, Tampa is 10-4-3. They're in the third spot in the Atlantic. Florida has that top spot at 13-2-3. Carolina 14-2-1, and the Devils, the 7th place team in the Metro, with an identical record to the Flyers at 8-5-3. So both through 16 games. Flyers fell in the standings last night. A couple teams got wins: Pittsburgh, Columbus, and the Flyers obviously off last night, unable to gain any points. So now they are tied for that 6th spot in the Metropolitan Division. We're going to talk with Mike Therrien coming up, Michelle Therrien, Flyers assistant coach, and we're going to discuss power play.
Okay.
They got a power play goal in last game, but it still hasn't looked great. It looked better, but it needs to develop into consistent pressure and be able to grab momentum with it and result, because it hasn't been doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked the other night about how we finally saw some east-west movement on the power play, and that that to me is the most effective way to get a goaltender off his line. There's a lot of a lot of teams doing a lot of the same things these days, which includes trying to go down low and then bump back out into the slot, or get a guy on the doorstep and try to have him spin around or something like that. To me, if you're going to do one thing, it's move the puck east-west and get the defense scrambling and all that sort of thing. If you can pull off executing things like the bumper guy, which is kind of the new trendy name to call the guy in front of the net, that was in the past there to screen the goalie all the time for shots from the point. If you can move quickly from that to somebody going net front to try to do that twist move and lift it up or something like that. If you can do that quickly, that's fine. But if that's going to be your one thing, like if you're gonna start the puck at the point and you're going to work it around, and then you're going to try to hit the bumper guy, and then you're going to have to regroup if that doesn't work, that to me is not the most effective thing. You got to I feel like you have to string those together with some things. So, interesting to hear what we affectionately call him French Mike has to say about the power play, and wondering what the overall look is here tonight, and they continue to try to tweak it. Obviously, they got to try to tweak it with the numbers they're getting at it, but they got that movement going the other night, so I think that was a step in the right direction if they can keep that up.
Yep, and they have to drive their offense that way. If they had an average power play, they might be in a far different situation than the 8-5-3 record, and they need to generate more 5-on-5 as well. So we'll hear from Michelle Therrien coming up next here on the pregame show as the Flyers get set to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning at the top of the hour. Tim Saunders and Steve Coates are down in Tampa. They'll bring you all the action. Stay tuned. Brian Smith, Jason Martinez. It is Flyers game day on the BetRivers.com Flyers broadcast network. We're right back after this. Yeah, we're back live. It's the Philadelphia Flyers and Tampa Bay Lightning tonight from Florida. Flyers looking to exact a little revenge from that shootout loss last Thursday night. And boy, Tampa made quick order of it in the shootout. You don't want to get in a shootout against this team. Flyers went 0 for 2, and Tampa went 2-0 in the shootout.
I don't know if it was something about Vasilevsky, but Claude Giroux and Sean Couturier are not bad hockey players, but it seemed like they both just like skated the puck right into his pads. It was the most bizarre thing I've seen. It was just, and we're all jaded because the Flyers have been the worst shootout team in hockey for going on 16 years now. For whatever reason, it makes no sense because those players are all different players than they have now, and the management's all different. Like it statistically should even out, but it doesn't. But Jason, one thing I take away from that game is that I'd like to see tonight is more of that third period. Flyers. That third period was one of the more impressive periods they played all season when you consider the situation that they were in and the opponent they were against. So whatever went right there, whatever went right there, we need more of that tonight on the road in hostile territory.
Yeah, play that boring road game in Tampa. You don't owe those fans anything. All right, let's get to Michel Therrien. I had a chance to catch up with the Flyers assistant coach, talk about the power play, offense, driving 5-on-5 numbers as well, and all that and more with Michel Therrien. He joins us now. Michel, how are you? I messed that up. I messed it up in the sense that I didn't go into the interview right, and I forgot to put. Brian, can you stream this onto our stream channel? Brian, can you stream this onto our? He can't hear me. All right, we're gonna put up the break sign. Now, there he is, Mike Tarian, the Flyers assistant coach, talking about the power play. And we'll take a quick break, come back with more here on the pregame show. We'll wrap it up as well, get it to Tim Saunders and Steve Coates, live from Florida for the Flyers and Lightning. Stay tuned. We're back after this on Flyers Game Day on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. All right, everybody on the stream. All right, we got 3 minutes. Might as well talk to the people on the stream for a little bit since they got blacked out there. Can you hear me, Bri? Can you tell Smitty to turn on? Can you tell Smitty to turn on his?
There we go. Hi.
You got me now. Forget it. Thanks, Pat. All right, we might as well talk to the people on the stream a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't think that Rasmus was the solution on the power play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I know he was there briefly. I can't recall any specific details about what he did while he was there. I'd have to go back and look. I know he's got a huge shot to get through there. Probably. I don't know about distributing it down on the 1-3-1 though. That would be, that could be a challenge for him. So
yeah,
try anything at this point. I mean,
yeah. I mean, try 5 forwards. I'm surprised more teams don't try 5 forwards.
I mean,
like Coots could play that role.
I guess you usually have at least one offensive defenseman back there, right? But
kind of
try 5 forwards, try anything really just to get this going. 8.3% in 14 games or whatever it is now, 13 games. It's time to throw everything you can at it and see if you can find what works.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see if the lines from practice yesterday are what they go with in the game tonight.
That is what was in warmups. That is coming back from our folks on the ground in Tampa, so to speak. That the changes that they put in on Monday look to have stuck here with Max Willman going up to the third line, Travis Konechny on the top line with Farabee and Couturier. We'll see how this particular mix goes, but it does look like that's what it is.
All right, let's talk about that here. All right, here we go. Yeah, we're back live as the Flyers get set to take on the Lightning down in Florida, look to avoid losing 3 straight games for the first time this season. Brian, we were just talking with the stream audience about the lines, and it looks like, according to line rushes, that they're going to hold true from what Alain Vigneault put in practice yesterday. A lot of changes here.
Yeah, Travis Konechny goes up top. Joel Farabee had already been moved there, but now Konechny goes up there. He'll swap with Atkinson, who will drop to the Derek Brassard line where Claude Giroux was the last game out. So a little bit of a tweak there. Max Willman looks like he's going to be on the third line with Scott Lawton and James Van Riemsdyk, and Oscar Lindblom goes down to play with Nate Thompson and Zach McEwen. So couple of shuffles there from what we saw the other night, which was already a big change from what we saw the game before. So just going one more step there. Defensive pairings are exactly the same as they've been here every game that Ryan Ellis has been out. So.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with shuffling lines, offensive lines, like I do with D pairs.
Yeah,
to me, they're very different.
Absolutely. Yep.
D pairs, I'm a lot less, likely to enjoy the shuffling there and constant shuffling. We saw a ton of it last year, and I get why, because it was really messy. But that's just not something you want to change a lot. You can find combinations, and a lot of times what coaches do is they'll find a pair of forwards they'd like to keep together, and then the third person of that pair is kind of what they'll move in and out, and that becomes a little bit more interchangeable. Whether with Couturier and Giroux for so long, it was Voracek that guy, was Konechny that guy, was Hartnell that guy, or Braden Shen that guy. I'm going way back, but you look at it that way, and a lot of changes here. Max Willman moving up to the third line. You got to wonder if that stick and stays. If they have success, I imagine it stays. If they don't, then we could see further change in game.
I mean, when you're talking about the lines, you're talking about guys obviously going north, going forward, and trying to play off each other's chemistry to make something happen on the offensive end. When you're talking about defensive pairings, you're talking about chemistry there that D pairs that know where their partner's going to go and what he's going to do, and it allows you to better make last-second decisions to keep the puck out of your net. And when you don't have that chemistry, those last-second decisions result with the puck in your net. So you're exactly right. Mixing things up on the forward lines, go for it. The D, I feel like you want to keep him as solid as you can for as long as you can, and hope the injury bug doesn't bite anymore.
Yeah, and you're so right about that. When you're getting forechecked and you have to turn your back to a play, you need to have that instinctual ability to know where your partner is. It will be Carter Hart tonight. Martin Jones started that last game for the Flyers against the Boston Bruins. It's Hart versus Vasilevsky. Brian Elliott got it actually to start against Minnesota the other night on Sunday. But we'll see Vasilevsky and Hart once again. Hart having a great season, 11 games played. The record's not as great as his numbers, 5-3-3, 225 goals against average, and how about a lofty 932 save percentage for Carter Hart? Not bad. Stay tuned. Tim Saunders, Steve Coates are standing by in Tampa with the first period action, countdown to face-off, and more. You've been listening to Flyers Game Day on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network.